Hi, I'm Jordan Roy-Byrne, and I'm here at the September Metals Investor Forum in downtown Vancouver, British Columbia. And with me today is Jeff Wilson. He is the president and CEO of Precipitate Gold. And Jeff, as we get started, why don't you tell the listeners in the audience, give them a general overview of Precipitate Gold.
Sure. So we are a junior exploration company. We're focused in the Dominican Republic. We've been there in the Dominican Republic now for about 7 years. We have two main assets in country, both of which are quite strategically located, one adjacent to an existing 3.5 million ounce deposit operated by GoldQuest, a project called Romero. And on the other side of the country, our more active project right now is called Pueblo Grande, and that's a project that is in a very mining active and mining friendly part of the country. We're adjacent to Barrick's Pueblo Viejo mine there, which is one of the largest mining operations in the world. So those two projects have us strategically located, both relatively early stage exploration type projects, but in both cases multiple drill targets, some of which we'll start drilling later this fall.
Okay, let's talk about the Dominican Republic, because that's a jurisdiction you don't hear it that often. And so I'm just curious, and I'm sure the viewers are as well, why the Dominican Republic? Give us some education on that.
Yeah, so we actually got in country, like I said, about 7 years ago in 2012. It is a mineral-rich jurisdiction. As you say, it's a little off the beaten path in terms of the mining investment community, but there are several mining operations in country, one of which, as I said, Barrick's Pueblo Viejo, one of the largest mines in the world. That's one of Barrick's Tier 1 assets. They've put $4.5 billion into that project. They're proposing to put another $1 billion. So it is definitely a world-class mining operation. The country knows that is the single largest economic driver in country. So although tourism is the primary part of the economy, mining is second or third contributor to the economy. However, it's relatively underexplored. In previous years, the country was essentially blanket staked by a number of majors who didn't do a lot of exploration work. So you had a number of existing mines, but not a lot of ongoing exploration. So they changed some of the mining laws about 10 years ago, and that promoted new companies coming in, foreign investment coming in. We were part of that wave, and we've been able to pick up what we think is some very prospective ground in some relatively underexplored jurisdictions. The mining laws are quite clear and transparent, and doing business there is quite streamlined. So it's a great jurisdiction for us, and like I say, it's a little off the beaten path, but great opportunities and great prospective projects.
Now, before we get to catalysts, my next question would be, how does Precipitate differentiate itself from all the juniors out there? Because we're at a conference, there's many companies here, yeah. And a lot of the messages you hear, they can be the same at times. So how would you say your company differentiates itself from everybody else?
Yeah, and it's difficult to do. There's a lot of competition in the space. We've sort of based our company on good technical expertise. So we have a really strong geological sort of slant to our board of directors and our management team. Quinton Henning is on the board. Quinton is a very well-regarded PhD geologist. His successes kind of speak for themselves in recent years. Alistair Waddell is on our board of directors. Alistair previously with Kinross. Before that, he was one of the pioneers in the Dominican Republic. Spent about 10 years there prospecting, looking for assets. Adrian Fleming is our chairman. Adrian also is a geologist. He's been with a number of recent takeovers, the most recent Northern Empire. It was bought by Coeur Mining about 1.5 years ago. So, we've sort of focused on, really being focused on the quality of the assets, the quality of the work. We are looking at discovery stage assets. So again, it's high risk but high reward. And we have a track record when you sort of look at the team involved of, finding good projects, making discoveries, advancing those to a stage where mid-tier major companies are attracted to them, and in some cases we've been lucky enough to do some buyouts. So our differentiating factor, I think, is being very, very focused on the quality of the assets and the quality of the people, recognizing that these discoveries don't get made overnight. There's a lot of work and time that goes into these things, but if you do the right work, give yourself the best shot, there's the odds sort of shift into your favor a little bit more that way.
Okay, so speaking of the right work, what catalysts are upcoming, and what does the company have to do to add value for shareholders in the coming months or the next 12 months?
Yeah. So our first asset in the Dominican Republic, I'll talk to that first, that's adjacent to GoldQuest in the San Juan Valley. That's sort of awaiting Gold Quest receiving a exploitation or environmental exploitation permit. So that's a little bit on hold for us right now. There are a number of targets there. It's been a very prospective asset for us, but the turnkey sort of game changer on that will be Gold Quest receiving a permit. That could happen any day. It could take 18 months. We don't know. In the meantime, we're focused on our Pueblo Grande project, where we've spent the last 6 months doing very extensive detailed work, geochemistry, geophysics, mapping, delineating targets, and we're sort of now at that critical threshold where the next phase of work for us is going to be a drill program there. Anytime you're sort of hunting in a region where one of the largest mining operations in the world is adjacent, you're in a very prolific, rich geological environment. Doing sort of discovery stage drilling is it's an exciting stage. So we're entering into that stage here this fall. So we'll be announcing the receipt of permits, the commencement of a drill program, and then the assay results, all of that sort of unfolding over the next few months here.
Okay, and finally, where can investors go to get more information, and how can they contact you if they want to follow up?
Sure. So our website is www.precipitategold.com. All the information there is up to date, and all of our contact info is also there, and I can be reached directly through the website.
Great. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Jeff.
Thanks, Jordan.